All right. So here we are again. Let's see how this is working now. I had to stop streaming. I like my setup is totally screwed up here, and oh boy, I lately have so much trouble with all my computer and my setup. It is horrible. I definitely need to get this fixed. All right, and you are just seeing. Oh, episode 33, and look what we like. We have a lot of a mess going on here. All right, let's try to relax and enjoy this chaos. Okay, so I was able finally, after restarting the MacBook twice, Logitech's own software actually recognized the two Bluetooth devices that were connected to the MacBook and working. I just couldn't access the function that allows me to use the F button. So Logitech's own software didn't recognize its own devices. I don't know what you're gonna do. I always. Is this what we have to accept now? This is it. Like there's no way of getting at them. They just sell you crap that doesn't work, and then oh my. Hey Sean, how are you? Great you joined today. And great you didn't join at 2 because I canceled the stream after a while. Because as you see, the setup is a little bit different. Well, you don't even see, but the camera is now at a different position, and I'm working on a Mac today. And I just reset everything like a few days ago, and that means that there's still so much stuff not installed that I didn't think I needed, but apparently I need it. I need it. So I hope now I got more or less everything that I need in order to start working here now on some in-betweens. A big thing that doesn't work for now on the Mac is Greta Zoom function, which is a huge bummer, as this is really like the most used function on the software, at least for me, and it doesn't work. Normally it's control space and you drag the mouse or the pen and you zoom in or out, but it doesn't work. So what you gonna do? Which is weird because shift space, as it is as well on the PC, is the rotation tool. Control space isn't. So you suppose, yeah, well, this is a Mac. Everything that's control on the PC is normally command on the Mac. But look what, I'm just getting a search window here if I push command space. So I don't know. All right, Sean has his brand new graphic tablet with a screen display now. Congratulations. That is great news. And do you already have like super plans for what you're gonna do now with it? Do you have projects you still have to finish, or you were waiting to do once your tablet arrived? Super cool. I remember when I got my first one, I had to go to the shop, and I didn't have to go to the shop. I went to the shop so I can get it directly once I had the money. And I remember like sitting in the metro with my tablet, and I was so fucking happy. Super cool. So I totally can understand that you're right now pretty psyched. Which is great. Okay, so what we don't have yet is getting from one keyframe to the other. Let's see if we can get that, somehow get this done. Pan canvas with zoom canvas, that is interesting. Gesture zoom mode. All right, maybe that's what we are looking for. Can I get an input here? Key combination. Okay. Oh my god, is that? No, it's not. Fuck. Why isn't it? Any Brita pros out there that can shine a light on that problem? All right, if I put canvas zoom, what else do we have? Mouse button, mouse wheel, key combination, zoom in, zoom out, zoom gesture, zoom mode, key combination, control alt space left. Dude. I don't know, I just changed them all. Key combination. So you won't. What the fuck, dude? Like, and how can this still be not written over? So relative discrete zoom mode, whatever that means. Relative zoom mode. Let's try this one. Damn you, critter. All right, you're trying Krita now. Super cool. Well, as you see, I have a lot of problems now with Krita. That is cool, man. And I haven't heard about Clip Studio Paint, but fit to width, edge shortcut, gesture, key combination 2, fit to page, okay. Zoom mode, reset zoom in, zoom out. So what else do we have left here? I mean, I have a relative zoom mode that doesn't work. Relative discrete zoom mode didn't work. Like, no. let's get this whole the same combination for all of them, which should already, the software should be asking like, is it gesture? Okay. No idea how this cancel, whatever. Oh man. I really want this to be working, man. Key combination, zoom in is plus, zoom out is minus. Is this actually working? Okay, this actually works. Alright, then we're gonna work like this. This is super disappointing. Oh, damn it. The thing is that I have it, like my muscle memory does it all the time, and now I'm just... Relative zoom mode, control middle button of the mouse. Let's see if what that does. So absolutely nothing. So I have no idea what relative zoom mode is supposed to do. What is relative zoom mode? Okay, Control Alt Space plus left button of the mouse. So Control Alt Space. The most inconvenient left space, right? Nothing at all, dude. All right, so okay, the lasso is not so super stupid that I haven't saved from Gritter from the PC. Let's try this. I'm here. My PC is still active, open, and whatsoever. So let's try to. Here you are, the raiders, the Twitch raiders. Hello, everyone. Super nice. You came by. Awesome. All right. How is everybody doing? We are here in Gritter, the free software of our choice, and make some. Today we're gonna do some in-betweening of a animation. We've been working for a few episodes so far, and that is our first take. We have as well another shot we worked on, but for now we want to get a little more fluent animation on that one, which means we double the drawings. As you can see here, these are our keyframes. we're gonna add additional keyframes here, as they are 1, 2, 3, 4 frames long every drawing, and we're gonna get this animation a little bit more fluent. We had still have quite some troubles with the setup here of our software, because today I had to change my setup to the Mac, and I've been working so far on the PC. But as PCs tend to do, there has been quite some trouble lately, technically wise. And I'm wondering, I'm now here, I'm missing tools that I think I have. Okay, this is the freehand, all right. So yeah, still trying to get some shortcuts going. All right, okay. And now we also have to figure out how to deselect shortcut, okay. And this is going to be Command D, I think. So within the process, we're still figuring out quite some stuff that hasn't been set up yet. And this, all right. Hello. So I'm sorry you missed the raid. This is super fun, man. The raid bump here. So thanks again to Stefan and all of you coming by. As you may have seen, this is quite a still very fresh and small stream. And the idea behind it is actually, I'm a self-taught animator, and I've been doing animation, motion graphics for around over 10 years now. But for the last 4 years, I became quite a fan of frame-by-frame animation. And I started to learn stuff about frame-by-frame animation back then, or since then. And when I started, I felt kind of lost and still try to figure out certain things. So I thought it would be a great thing to just show people what I've learned so far, for those of you who may be starting quite fresh on the technique. So maybe I can already give back some knowledge that I've learned throughout my journey so far. And also hoping to get in touch with animators that may show me a few tricks, because as I said, like I'm not I haven't studied that stuff, and I'm still figuring out quite a lot. So if anybody of you is into animation, already knows a lot about, or knows especially Krita here, because this is a software we used just when we started the stream. I used it, and I really like it, although there is quite some bugs going on, and it's always helpful to have somebody in the channel that knows it's his or her way around the software. So, well, there's always some challenges that we stumble upon during our process. And normally we do very short animations like walk cycles, loops, or in this case like a more cinematographic approach without actually too big of a story behind it. So yeah, didn't know you can animate in Greta. I didn't know you people use it just for drawings. So I heard about Greta just because of the from a few animation friends. They told me about this free software, and I used to animate in Photoshop. That's where I started with frame by frame animation, as it was the first, or the software I used to use, and then stumbled upon the timeline function and the possibilities to animate frame by frame. So I started to experiment there. And if you're familiar with animating in Photoshop, you probably know that there are quite some limitations. And so once I was a little bit more into frame by frame animation, I tried Animate, which I'm not that big of a fan because I don't like the drawing experience in Animate. And because of the stream and the whole concept of showing a learn process, I thought it would be fun to start playing around maybe with Greta. And from day one, I really enjoyed the whole drawing experience that you get. It's more comparable to Photoshop, but you have as well, like you have super cool, and I would say high, there's a lot of potential in the software, although the bugs are definitely there, and we find out about them now and then during the streams. So let's give him here I want to have some background. Okay. And if you're interested in what we animated so far on the stream, you can check out the started frame 1 on Instagram, where I put the results from the last streams. We are now at stream number 33. And we had quite some fun results so far. Okay. And yeah, I'm still trying to switch my head is still in PC mode, so command and control are still in conflict here. But I hope I can get over this. Quite quickly, so I think we're gonna leave as well the plank. We're gonna get rid of all that because it's just distracting right now. Oh, damn it. Still have some shortcuts that are not set up properly. And this in between looks quite crappy, I would say. Which later on won't be that visible as everything is moving. So Luna Lou, yeah, Instagram. It's started frame 1. You can actually link your LinkedIn in the panels of your Twitch side here. Oh, all right. I'm still fairly new to Twitch. That is great to know. Thank you so much. Oh my God. He can tell you anything. Yes, Stefan may give some crash course on twitching. So let me see. I definitely need the shortcut to switch from next to previous keyframe to make this work, because if I'm not able to switch, like toggle between, let's give that a command K. I hope I don't mess up anything. And that one is, next keyframe is gonna be a command L. Okay. So, wow. So this is one of those things that apparently happened in Gritter. It just froze here, which is absolutely annoying. And it is weird. Oh, did I just miss that window? Weird stuff going on. Definitely. That's why I haven't trusted Gritter in a for client projects, because of that. I still feel like it's too unstable, and there are too many unknown variables. I'm not okay. That was the problem, I suppose. Like the window was behind that. Okay, so now I can hopefully. Okay. Oh, boy. Previous one was not saved. Previous keyframe. And this is a technique that I learned just recently to animate, which is not using too much of the onion skin. I use it sometimes when I have to orient myself on where I have to put certain drawings, but in order to get a real idea and a better sensation of the movement, it is way better to just toggle between your keyframes. So there you can then see where there may be problems when it comes to the movement. Here, for example, I feel like those eyes are way too big. So now I could bring in the onion skin here, so I have more or less an idea where the eye should be positioned, but then I want to make sure it works. You see the ear, for example, the ear is especially, and this one as well. Like, it should be more around here. A little bit wiggly here with the lines. I haven't had a proper warm-up today to draw. And I haven't been drawing today so far, as I had other keyframe animation stuff going on and didn't really use the pen there. So now let's see, to start off with this in between, I'm gonna start off with the onion skin, and because if I don't have anything, I don't know where to start, so I would probably I think we used a stabilizer the last time. Maybe that helps my wiggly line. No, this is not really fun to draw like that. Weighted, like what? Okay. I'm not really sure how those different stabilizers work, the smoothing functions here. You know what? I'm gonna do an extra step to do those in-betweens, and I think instead of drawing them already with my final line, I still feel it. I want to give it a little bit more dedication. And make this right. So I think I'm gonna draw a little bit more roughly first. Drawing in the outlines, like the cleanup first, or directly the cleanup would probably would help me to save time. But I'm actually a great fan of drawing the drafts. I don't know, it feels more natural than just the cleanup. We want to get the perspective right. And then I think I'm gonna draw in roughly bring down the onion skin. This one is, for example, this is awesome in Krita. compared to what you get in Photoshop with additional scripts for animation. You don't have such a extent onion skin there, like this here. So you can actually tell Krita which frame you want to see with which opacity. So this is pretty cool. So I can bring in like 5 frames from that one in the future if you want, and get an idea where the whole movement is gonna go, which may sometimes be helpful. So I really love that on Krita. Let's see. So sorry, I'm still have the other shortcut combination in my head, and it's not working on the Mac. Kind of confused here. Okay, here we would actually see how this arm should go, because I don't think that it's just a normal in between. Still, it's very distracting to have. Now this looks better. Okay. Yeah, definitely a better choice to go first a little bit more roughly here. I for myself feel more comfortable, definitely. And maybe like we see from this image to that one, he gets a fist. So you use Procreate. Luna Lu says she uses Procreate. Do you use it for animation as well, or do you mainly draw on it? Because I tried animating in Procreate, but I was missing. It is a great way, I would say, to get a rough idea, like to make maybe like say like notes how you think the animation would go, like a very rough kind of an animatic. But I found myself pretty quickly in struggling when it comes to timing and timing out the different length of the frames, like how many images you want to be see certain frames. That's why I like the screen recording on the Procreate. So I'm planning to do more in Procreate, at least for the cleanup process, because I think it's interesting to show the process. And as it's this effortlessly appropriate, I really like that, because it's recording it anyways. I suppose I'm not really sure if you can deactivate the recording. If you work mainly on the iPad and want to do frame by frame animation, I can highly recommend the app Rough Animator, which is super cool. I'm really having a super messed up setup today, especially to read the. Let me get this better setup here with the chat. So all right, so you experiment. I think that's a cool thing to do. Experiment around with the softwares you already know. Not worrying too much about like skills or something. I mean, that comes, I would say that the first and most important thing is to get very curious about it first, and then try to get into the stuff. That was my case. I really did some simple, straightforward animation in Photoshop back then when I heard about the timeline function. And I mean, animation is like, at the moment it moves, it's animation for me. And then you can experiment a little bit and see what kind of animation you're actually interested in. And for me, it took quite a while to stick more or less with the characters. But the thing is, you can do so many different kinds, styles of animation that are fun to do and can look pretty awesome. And if you're getting really into animation, I would super highly suggest the Animator Survival Kit, which brought my animation to a whole new level. Understanding of animation, and it was actually the first actual insight of how professional animation is done. And then I also I watched a lot of breakdown clips on Instagram from agencies or studios I really like and I follow. And from there on, bit by bit, polishing my skills, but still a long way. But that's okay, I think. I enjoy the journey, as I would say that it my opinion, it will never end, because you can always, if it's illustration or animation, you can always get better once you mastered, let's say, characters, and then afterwards you go with buildings or with cars or with with animals or whatever. So yeah, pretty much. I like the challenge though. Okay, they're fairly close. If they're that close, I would suggest I go with the more or less with the onion skin. To make sure I don't create any wiggly stuff. And then I'm gonna see if it works in the animation. Lately I've been animating again more in After Effects as I'm trying to work on a new show reel. And yeah, I figured that the cool thing, I feel like frame by frame animation is just more, to me it feels more rewarding, as I feel like I have instant feedback. The render times are fairly reasonable. And I kind of like the work process. That you can, I like the enjoy the rough part where you just do a first draft to get an idea of the movements, and then afterwards you have to do your cleanups. So everything is bit by bit getting more into shape. And I kind of like this process. See how this kind of, so that doesn't feel right. You see this one here now toggling through. This looks weird. And I want to fix that. So not really getting it. Sometimes it's just all right. Thank you very much, Luna Lu, for joining. Noch einen schönen Tag and thanks for rating. Been a pleasure. Let's see. So I think we're gonna need more. Still not really. I think I have to change the perspective here. Like, now let's, so I think we need, by the way, we should definitely get another color. Oh, all right, now. Let's see if this, let me get a freehand selection tool shortcut here because I'm gonna need this. I need this. Freehand selection tool. As normally it is called lasso, we get the L for lasso here. All right. Okay. Let's see. Damn it. Still don't get it. Maybe I think we should like rotate this hand. I'm pretty sure like rotating it like so won't be sufficient, but I think I'm going to continue with the rest of this and gonna come back later with a hopefully fresher eye. Yes, this is just a rough path. I suppose I'm gonna do it quite roughly as it's called. So need some abs here. Okay. Let's see how this looks all together. So as those are the in-betweens, I suppose we get a quite fluent result. Although there is this little hiccup here in his arm, and I'm just trying to see if this actually is giving us some trouble, but I don't see any. Gonna give it another shot. And I think I'm gonna change the perspective. Because here the arm is coming out quite a lot in the animation so far, and this is not really. Now we have to get around this foreshortening here that is gonna happen, whether we like it or not. Of course, if you don't draw directly on an existing keyframe in Greta, if you don't draw on an already existing keyframe in the timeline, Greta is gonna add on the existing content whatever you draw on top of it and creates at that position a new keyframe, which may seem logical to people that are, for example, familiar with After Effects, where whenever you change the value of an attribute, it automatically sets a keyframe at that position. In Animate, for example, this doesn't happen. Like, if you don't set a new keyframe, he adds the information to your last keyframe. Doesn't matter if your cursor is on the keyframe, as long as you don't manually put a new keyframe, it's added to the information that you put maybe some frames behind, if that makes sense. And I think it's didn't like that at the beginning on Animate. I found it like a little bit confusing, but now that it's different in Greta, and maybe I'm used to it in Animate, I feel like it creates more trouble to me than it actually is helpful, and that may be just because of the fact that I'm not used to it. Trying it again here, and I've okay, now at least we don't have that single image we were working on like popping out throughout this movement. You see, now it's more continuous, and I think that's better. That works better. Okay, great. Next one. And And what I have learned so far, and will could seem obvious to a lot of people, but is when I animate, I try to break down the character in his or its or her simplest shapes, which is the head here. Well, the design already is like very laid out for to get along with simple shapes. But even if the shapes seem more complex at the beginning, I think that counts as well for illustration. At least in your head when you're animating or illustrating, I think you always think in a certain, I don't know, extent or amount in very simple shapes. And I think the better you get at your craft, the less you have to actually draw those simple shapes, as you can jump ahead and already draw in a more detailed version. But actually your thinking process starts in simple shapes, and the better and better you get, the less you have to bring in those simple shapes, and you may be able to draw directly a more detailed version. Sometimes I try to jump over certain steps and want to draw directly a more detailed version, but feel myself in a certain moment maybe I'm trapped. I don't, like, for instance, this perspective that we were just working on right now, and when I feel like I don't get it right, I do it over again, but then I go simpler, and I try to break it down in a more simple shape and try to figure out the specific problem with the help of a more geometric or a simple shape, which is basically just geometric volumes. Okay, now what I can do here is just create a new exact keyframe and just move it up a little bit higher, scale it up, because I know the only thing actually changing from the previous keyframe to the next one, where I want to create this in between, is only that leg. All the rest stays the same. So now I just draw wondering if this actually is necessary to draw an additional keyframe here for the foot, as they change so little that maybe we could get more towards the final pose. Okay, now let me try something here. Eraser switch, opacity, eraser switch, size. That's what I want. Here on that options, I think what that makes me, so I'm now able to give it an independent size when I'm in eraser mode. No, it doesn't work. Because of that's a weird thing on Krita. The eraser mode, and now it worked. I haven't used any software that handles the eraser like Krita does, where you can switch into eraser mode for all kinds of tools. So it's not a tool on its own, a standalone tool. You can switch your brush to eraser mode. So wherever you draw with your brush, it erases. You can use the bucket tool in eraser mode, so you can delete whole fill areas, which at least I'm not aware of. That this is possible in Photoshop, for example. And I like it because you don't have to use two different keys on your keyboard. You just hit the same. Like here it is the E for me on the keyboard. I just hit twice, so I can enter and jump out the eraser mode. So next thing, let me see. Okay, here he starts to open his arms, and I think for that one I also just copy the existing keyframe. I'm gonna scale him up a little bit because he gets closer to the camera. Now you see by toggling now between the keyframes, I see like the curve of his movement is off. Now that looks kind of better. I think I'll leave it like this. I don't want to create an in-between where he opens his arms. I think. What could be maybe interesting is work another round on that foot. What I mean by that is I create a new in-between here, as I feel the movement of the foot as he gets higher could be a little bit more fluent. Let's see. Oh, very roughly here. very subtle details, I don't know. But maybe they sum up afterwards and make it more pleasing to the eye. Okay, the only thing that changes from this keyframe to that one is the arms, and I feel the neck here. But so what that means is I'm going to duplicate, and now I'm going to just get rid of the areas that I want to edit. Let's see. Getting to the hands, which is always a scary topic. I think I want to stay closer to the previous drawing than to the next one, just to create a little bit more of an easing of the movement, like of the speed. So when he opens his arms, it happens slowly, so we don't have like a too big of a jump here. So the speed ramps up or eases out, or whatever term you are familiar with. Okay. Oh yeah, we should at least position this one a little bit. Okay, and here we have a slight rotation of the hand. Seem a little bit too short, those fingers. Now let's see where we add here. Okay, looks all right so far for a rough pass. Yeah, okay. Good. I'm quite positive that here as well we can keep the torso Okay, the head's gonna move down. Oh. So now I'm not really sure if we could have drawn everything from scratch. Let's see. This comes down. I'm gonna shrink it a little bit as it gets further away from the camera. Okay. Gonna bring the head in here. Still want to keep the eye line quite up. So at the next shot. Okay. Sometimes I draw in that roughly just because I feel like I see the perspective. I kind of see what I need to do, and to not lose that vision, I try to bring it as fast as possible on paper, on the screen, however you want to call it. And then later I'm gonna figure out proportions or like subtle details. Okay, now this is it's pretty much off, and I think because we want to respect the arc of the movement here. Kind of feels it should be kind of so. Doesn't really get me. Doesn't feel right. So. I'm quite sure that this is going to create some it doesn't make too much noise for now. Still have to work on proportions of the fingers and make this as fluent as possible. So let's see. Still want to keep this here fairly bent. This one is already a little bit more stretched out, so we don't have everything like very, like both sides super equal. Okay. And I think that is it for today's stream. It's 4 o'clock and unfortunately I have less enjoyable tasks on my to-do list for today and gonna leave it for now. So again, thanks so much for coming by today, the Stefan's Raiders, whoever sticked with the stream so far. I'm gonna be streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Central European Time. It's normally around 2 hours to make it consistently working with my normal schedule. And it would be awesome if you gonna join me whenever you have the time and feel like you wanna do some animation stuff or Krita stuff or whatever. Like if you are interested in specific animation topics, feel free to reach out. And we did quite some experimentations during the stream so far. We did facial expressions, which I never did. We did a kickflip skateboard trick, which I've never done. What else did we do? We experimented a little bit with perspective. So tasks are great, and failing on the stream live is great, I guess. Watching it, doing it, it's necessary, but yeah, I'll try. I try to fix every fail and transform into a good result. And so far it worked fine. Like everything we did so far on the stream, I'm pretty happy with, and I always felt like we reached a new level. So that's it. Thanks again, and consider like following, joining, whatever people do to support a live stream channel. All right. Okay, man, and have a great day, and I suppose hopefully see you soon. So thanks again. Bye bye.